Docking request accepted.
Good morning, New Eden. Today is June 23rd, 2024, and this is the Federation Frontline Report, and I need to fix the lower text because you're not Phantomite. You are not Phantomite.
Oof. You're gonna have to restart that one, Frozen.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is the professional podcast that, we're on here, so... but we don't have Phantomite. We have Lira with us today, and I'm your host, Frozen Fallout, and we have our co-hosts here. We got Master of Disaster. We've got the Night Flyer. How's it going, Night Flyer?
Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Well, I better shut down my repeater. Hold on.
Yeah, no.
Talking to myself twice in the ear.
Trouble.
Again, we're a professional podcast. That's what we do.
We've got this all handled, all good here. And we also have the master of fucking Yavangir, gate camping master, of course. We've got Samson here with us. How's it going, Samson? How's Samsonite World?
Good morning, New Eden. That's the off-brand version, and I have no idea.
Well, you just got done being on another podcast, right? We're going to talk about that,
yes.
like, at the end, right? When we're going to give away, like, a Super Thorax.
Spoilers, it was declarations of war.
Holy shit. And we have the super duper fucking epic motherfucking coolest fucker that's out there, master of the frog pond, Lira, with us today. How's it going, Lira?
I wish I could say I was master of the frog pond, but unfortunately I am but a mere essence scrub. We're with Frog Pond are up north at the moment, I think, but Novak is a real cool guy, so we like him a lot.
Wait, did I get your corporation wrong? Did I?
Frog Team 4 is
Frog Team 4, not Frog Pond.
Clear pizza delivery. So we're
Yeah, you said Frog Team 4 before the show, Frozen. Come on, man, get it together.
I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know. This is a
That's
professional
right.
podcast.
You're probably
He
like
got it
50
right.
drinks in by now. So.
Pretty fucking trash right now.
But no, I'm part of FPD, so we're like, you probably know Chad Flamers. Chad Flame.
Yeah.
Kirk.
I like Chad.
I'm part of that crowd.
And Kirk, yeah. We've hung out with Kirk.
So are you the leader of Frog Team 4 then? Is that you're
De
the
facto,
CEO?
I mean, I'm a director. I'm kind of the operational head, I guess, of FT4. Technically, Captain Brewster is the head, but he's got less of an interest in actually running day-to-day running Corp. He's more interested in doing his solo PvP thing. It's kind of the same thing that Chad does in FPD. He just kind of goes out, does his stuff. Brew's just come back from a bit of a break as well, so it's kind of the Corp is split between me and another guy, the master of Demos Fu, Lito, who does the losing expensive Demos for us. But that's kind of how our Corp operates. We fly expensive stuff and then laugh at each other when we lose them.
Lira and Lito, man. Oh, I love you guys. Lira, just to let you know, has donated, like, I don't know, 30 billion ISK to the fucking stream so far. Like, it's been...
That's nothing compared to what I've donated to Gal Mill in the last couple months.
True. Well, tell me though, how did you get into EVE Online? What was the catalyst to bring you into EVE Online, and when was that?
Someone sent me a beta key. No, it was, I used to work with a guy who was involved in the first round of beta testing. He sent me a beta key. I never actually bothered logging in. I never used it, but when EVE actually did launch and it looked kind of interesting, I picked it up, played from like early 2005-ish. I can't remember exactly when I started, it was so flipping long ago, but basically I logged in with like the first wave, I guess you could say, of actual people played.
2005 was right around when I made my first character, Frozen No Space Fallout, and I fucked around with that for a little bit, and then I was like I got a thorax from my buddy, who gave me like 30 million ISK to get a thorax all fitted up and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is awesome, and then I was off, working and shit like that, so I couldn't really play. In 2006, I came back and made Frozen Fallout, because that's when you got like the skill boost, like, because they gave you like what 50,000 skill points originally,
something like that.
and then
that was like unprecedented as well. Like there was no.
Well, it was like 2006 is when it was like 1 million that they gave you like 800,000 or something like that. It was like, oh well, I can't use that old character. I'm gonna make a
People
whole
lost
new
their
one.
collective minds over that. It was great.
It was-
3 skill points. When does this ever happen? Yeah. Now it's literally a daily occurrence, but whatever.
Chambers Gaming
Game-
just asked, is there going to be a form the fleet after the podcast? I think we will, because my wife just told me that I don't have to go to a dinner, so we're probably going to hang out. But tell us, so what was the first thing that you did when you came into EVE Online? So this is like, you said 2005-ish?
I bought a frigate and mined for a bit. I imagine a lot of people have a similar story. The first proper ship I owned was an Execura, I think. I think it was an Execura. It might have been a Vex. I don't know. It was some ancient Galente ship, and I must have done.
Well, if it was an
3 or 4
Execura, it
weeks
would
of
have
that.
been Logi. So did you do Logi?
Yeah, no, it
or...
was. All the Logi ships used to be like mining ships, didn't they? Something like that.
Kind
I
of,
mixing that
yeah.
up?
They were really shitty. Like, they were not, because they didn't give
I was
really any
terrible.
real Logi bonus at all.
I was terrible at this game. I do nothing, and I didn't know where to go to find any answers either. So pretty much everything I've learned from this game, at least in my first formative years, was entirely self trial and error, trying to figure stuff out. But I figured out pretty quickly that you could do trading runs with NPC buy orders, and after that I joined up with a couple of people who'd go on to form a pretty big and powerful early alliance called Ascendant Frontier that some people might remember.
I know
Like,
Ascendant Frontier. First people to buy or build a
Really?
Titan, right? First Titan built, first Titan
Yeah,
lost, right?
Yeah, I think so. I contributed my share of Tritanium to those projects in the early days. I didn't do any PvP at all for the first decade of my career. I was just not interested in it. I liked making money. I liked organizing things.
And that
and
paid
I
off for
was,
you way, oh my god, dude, like,
that's
because
the story.
I mean, you're as ancient as I am, and I am like the poorest of poor comparatively to you. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have money to throw around and have fun with in PvP these days, and I do not. Like, I mean, my biggest thing was getting a 42 billionist skin that like made it so that I could like throw some money around. But to you, 42 billion ISK is like what, a drop in the bucket, right?
Yeah, that's yeah. I have quite a bit of ISK in game. It's a bit of a double-edged sword though, because if you take the like risk out of EVE, it's not quite as fun. There's definitely, like, if you can afford to replace literally any ship in the game that you want to fly, fit however you want, yeah, the game is a bit different. I see the game a bit different than people who.
But it's still lost, though. I mean, it is still a lot, even if it's less than like I don't know. Like I still have a decent amount of ISK, and when I fly my Comet around, my heart still pounds. Like
you still get the shakes, I suppose, to some degree.
Less of the shakes, more of the pounding. But oh, and I forgot. I got to get my hat on here. 1 second, real quick.
Put your hat on. Has he got like his Galente beret?
Yeah, I was thinking cap. It helps through the hops and the.
And it's not
I will never
form factored.
I will never understand your zealotry when it comes to the Federation. I really don't.
Well, I mean, I started this. I got involved in faction warfare like immediately as soon as it came out. Like I had formed up X Meta and stuff like that, and had the zealotry that But then I got stolen by goons because they were
I have a
partying
similar story.
all the time. So tell us. So what after you'd been doing some Ascendant Frontier? Is there anything cool that you want to talk about while you were in Ascendant Frontier that you were participant in?
We got our asses kicked by Bob, which is pretty cool. My involvement in that was basically I built Dominixes. Like that was my entire participation in that war. I built Dominixes and I put up boss towers and made sure they got fuel. Because a little bit of archaic Eve lore, but that's how sovereignty used to work before FuzzySov. Was you had towers in a system. The person who had the most towers in a system owned the system. That's how simple it was. So you needed to keep those towers online in order to keep the sovereignty. So basically it was someone's job, aka this guy, to fly around to lots of towers and keep fuel. And keep a giant spreadsheet of
and you had to rep the towers. I mean,
I had to rep the towers.
Today you still have to rep towers, but nobody really shoots towers, really.
These days, if you have a tower that gets reinforced, you just take it down after the reinforcement timer. Nobody bothers repping it.
Phantomax, which I think is Phantomite. Phantomax? Are you Phantomite? I think that's Phantomite.
It might be Phantomite.
I love Phantomite. We talked a little bit. No, Phantomax is not Phantomite. He's like
psyop.
And he's tricking us now. No, but so the first Titan was Steve. You said you donated Trit in order
in a
to
roundabout kind of way. Yeah, I put Trit in the corp hangers, so some of it must have gone into the building of that Titan, because there weren't that many people mining on a large scale back then. It was definitely a sort of nobody wants to do it, so let's make this guy do it kind of job. It needed to get done, otherwise there was no Trit. So yeah, it was definitely either you were responsible for sourcing it or you were responsible for mining it. I started off mining it and then very quickly decided I don't want to mine it, I want to source it. So I ended up building up a little network of people who would sell me Triton and I would do it. And that kind of tied into my hauling around NPC buy orders.
So is that how you got kind of rich in the very beginning of all of this?
Not so much. I mean, I made a bit of money. I definitely made more money than people that were going out and losing ships every day. But I didn't have the income of loot, so yeah, I probably made a bit more than your average person. But realistically, I didn't start making money until our first big war. And our first big war was definitely the Bob War, in which we lost pretty badly. We got rolled.
Have you ever listened to Empires of Eve or Empires of Eve 2?
Yeah.
Or read it? I mean, the book, I've got it. Where is it?
Yeah, it's mostly accurate.
What you're talking about right now, it's Empires of Eve 1 right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got the also the audio book, of course, which if you've got Audible, I mean, if you're an Eve fan, get Empires of Eve 1 and 2. Like, I don't know. My wife gets so mad at me whenever we go on a trip because I'm like, I'm driving, I get control of the or she's driving, but then I don't get control. But when I'm driving, I put on Empires of Eve and I just listen to it over and over and over again. And she's like, why do you do this? She's come to FanFest, she plays Eve online, but she's still like, and also, Samson, you're the same fucking way. Every time that I've had you in a car, you're like, why are you
fucking boring, Frozen? You want me to fall asleep in the car? I will fall asleep in the car.
But yeah, Empires of Eve covers most of the big events. There are definitely things they omit, but I mean, you can't put everything in there, so...
I always find it funny listening to them, though. Every once in a while, they get, like, little things mixed up. You know, like, what a scram is, what, like, a bubble is, or what, like, you know, like, little things here and there. They, like, contradict themselves every once in a little while.
The editor. That's probably the editor that doesn't actually play Eve.
Well, yeah.
Just little touches here or there. But yeah, so I would say I made some money, but I definitely didn't make much. At least not that point. I made a lot more money when I joined Bob.
So
Bob
tell us,
was a different story.
what was the next thing that happened after you were part of Ascendant Frontier? I'm guessing that you kind of left after they kind of fell apart after Steve got blown up, or is that?
I got absorbed into Bob along with a lot of Ascendant Frontier. So as was the case back then, you joined the winning team. That's kind of a running theme, and people join the winning team.
Well, you got all of your shit in a station that's now owned by somebody different. Because back in the day, you didn't get to blow up a station, right? You just had all your assets just sitting there, waiting to be freed if you joined the winning side, right?
Yeah, a lot of us joined the winning side when Ascendant Frontier threw in the towel with Bob, simply because our shit was all in posses back then. We had a lot of maintenance bay posses and a lot of ships just floating around poss sticks, and I could not be bothered to either evac it or sell it. So instead I decided to just straight up switch sides. I mean, 90% of Ascendant Frontier did the same thing, so I think I could be forgiven for not sticking it out, but we'd already lost by that point. It was just a case of Bob knocking over our towers for a month and a half before it became a sure thing. So instead we just said, you know what, we've lost this, let's just go and join them, and that's kind of what we did. Bob would indeed meet their match in much the same way, but as it turned out, there's things that Empires of Eve does not talk about when it comes to Bob.
Well, tell us more. I want to, because if Empires of Eve didn't report on it, what do you have to say about this?
I mean, you're not going to get a massive expose because a lot of it's like lost to the sands of time, but there was definitely a lot of stuff going on in Bob that was a bit under the table. There's been rumors for many years about CCP dev involvement, Bob's running.
Well, there's like one confirmed, right? There was a confirmed T20,
I would say there's a little bit more than one.
At least one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess I'll segue into leaving. Ascendant Frontier was kind of the very early stages of my career, and then after that I moved into Bob, and Bob was where things really started to take. I got to fly around with some people in the first AT. Well, at least got to train with them a lot. Wasn't a huge amount.
Did you? So, talking about AT real quick. First thing that pops into my mind when I think of AT and Bob is when they got their asses handed to them by thoraxes. Were you around? Did you witness, or were you part of the AT team that got their ass handed to them by thoraxes?
I was not in that particular match, but I did get to watch it, and yeah, we got our asses handed to us by thoraxes. Thoraxes were pretty good back then.
They were. I mean, they're still pretty epic if you get enough of them. But like blaster thoraxes with a bunch of drones just ramming into you and shooting you was like, well, really, this can fuck you up. Like,
Eve was a very different game back then. People hadn't gamed everything out. The idea of kiting was still very, very new. The idea of ramming people and pressing, your modules on. And it was really clicking your modules on.
Yeah.
There weren't that many adopters of like hotkeys back then. It was very much a very new game, and people were still working stuff out. And brawling was still the best way to play the game because it was simple and it was effective. Like both you and your enemy kind of had the same approach. You would approach each other and shoot each other, and one side would win. And that was kind of the tactics of Eve have definitely evolved a hell of a lot since then. Kiting and obviously better latency. Latency was a big problem back then. There were a lot of people that couldn't play the game properly because of it. There were plenty of people who died because of it. I know I myself died plenty of times because either the overview didn't update quickly enough, or the grid broke, or
the grid that was only 100 kilometers, like,
Yeah.
ish, you know, like, so if you were, well, maybe 250 or something like that. It was really small grid. There was a bunch of kiting that did happen, but they snuffed it out in what, 2007. So this would have been before your probably PvP time, but and before I really got into PvP, where you could just stack a whole bunch of nanofibers onto a Dominic's, and it would go like 8 kilometers a second. And
I cut my teeth flying something called a cavalry raven, which you may or may not have heard of before.
I've heard of, yeah.
Cavalry ravens were a great novel bit of EVE history where you would stack a bunch of prop mods, because prop mods were cumulative back then. So you could activate 5 micro warp drives on your Raven and make it go really, 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 really fast. And the idea of a cavalry Raven was that you would fire missiles at a target, generally cruise missiles at a target, and you would turn all your prop mods on and approach said target. And you would move slightly faster than your missiles did. So the idea was that by the time you reached the enemy, all the missiles that you had following you would all be stacked up at once, and you'd hit the enemy all at once with a massive alpha strike. And no logi in the game would save you from it. And it was very effective in the early days, but they pretty quickly decided that stackable prop mods was not a cool thing, and that went the way of test. But you know, there were a lot of gimmicky gameplay mechanics back then. I mean, there are a few people in the game who remember when they tried to implement mines in the game. I was so glad that never actually made it to made it off the cutting floor. But
no, I feel like it. Okay, I could be wrong because I don't think I was actually involved in the game truthfully when mines were. But there was like a very short amount of time that they were live, and they had
very short.
And then they were like, oh fuck. Like this causes problems.
Yeah, the latency being the biggest problem for mines. The secondary problem though was the idea of having smart bombs that you could leave in space and no limit on how many you could put up. So you drop like 1,000 of these round a belt, someone warps in, yeah, it's gonna be very exciting for them for a few seconds, but then the server would crash.
Yep.
And then nobody would have any fun.
Yep. Yeah, it was like Deep Space Nine on fucking steroids, basically. You didn't need to cloak your mines with regenerative mines because it would just fuck the game, basically.
Yeah, it's the same thing that happened when they banned the ejection of multiple shuttles. That was another thing that happened way later, more like the early 2010s, I suppose, where people decided that if you filled your carrier or I suppose it would have just been carriers then, with shuttles and ejected them all at once, you would 1, break the enemy's overview, and 2, generally crash the server if you did it with enough of them. So that was a tactic that was very quickly made a bannable offense. But you know, clever game mechanics like that, people have used them for ages, and they all started off as ideas in the early days. So yeah, I mean, Rooks and Kings probably made most of the time more than anything. They tried.
Have you watched a lot of the Rooks and Kings videos?
I've had the opportunity to speak to a few people from Rooks and Kings over the years. I think I spoke to Lord once, and I met Agent at a FanFest a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, obviously since they went off to Serenity, I haven't had any of them. I used to have a bit of a connection with people that played the game for a long time. I really respected their comps that they came up with, because I think they were the first people to popularize the idea of blingy battleships with triage reps. Which now is kind of the mainstream. Like, if you're fighting over any hard target where you have to stay on the same grid for an extended period of time, blingy battleships with triage is kind of the way to do that now. So a lot of people have followed in their footsteps on that, but they were definitely popular. I don't think anyone was making faction battleship fleets regularly an appearance on nullsec battlefields. So yeah, lots of respect for them. They came up with some ingenious strategy. Gridline bombing is probably my favorite. that uses the edge of what used to be the limited grid that isn't so much a thing now. I think it's like 15,000 kilometers now to break grid, but used to be you could sit a bunch of bombers on the very edge of that grid, just outside of visual range, put a bubble down just inside visual range, launch a bunch of bombs from off grid, and they would just peak onto grid and then explode, and nobody could see you. So yeah, ingenious. But kind of getting off topic a bit, going down memory lane. But
I think that's on topic, man. That's like absolutely like this is what you experienced, Moon. This is epic, like.
Yeah, mostly through having it done too, rather than doing it myself. But no, as I say, I didn't really do much PvP for the first decade of my career. I think my first real PvP was when I came to faction warfare, back in the very early days. I came around. I made my own corp at first. It was very small. We lived in Annankale. It was a bunch of me and a bunch of Euro. The only real Euros that played in Galmil back then were German, so I played with a lot of those guys. We didn't really get much further than Annankale, Ostengale sort of area. Intaki was right next door to us, so all that area is no longer even faction warfare territory. But yeah, that's where we started. Had a lot of fun there. Lost a lot of ships. Died horrifically many times. I think I've still got some. I think my earliest ever EVE losses were against Beethoven Smith, who up until recently was still in Caldari, I think. So yeah, I started there. This was around about the time where Shadows of the Federation was still a thing. I don't know if you remember them, but you must do, being like ex-meta genitors. Shadows of the Federation.
Shadows of the Federation. That sounds familiar, but to be honest, it's not triggering, because Valor Accords was the GMV GMVA was like the organization that ex-meta, when I ran them, that's where we were like, okay, we're gonna be your dogs. We just want to bite anything that comes near you. Like, we'll live in Animalia and we'll bite every fucking thing that comes through. And then we were like, well, we gotta go beat up Bright Matter, and I don't want to drag you into the war. And they were like, drag us into the war. I'm like, no, I don't wanna. I just wanna like beat up on these poor little bitches who tried to take over Hain.
Well, SOTF were back then what Snuffbox is now. They were they were Galente, so they were like a Galente version of Snuffbox. They never got quite as big as Snuff is now, because obviously there's been decades of, farming that have led to Snuff leading to where they are. But SOTF used to drop like super caps for flipping iHubs and stuff like that. They were that kind of ballsy. But they split up and became a bunch of different groups. The biggest one, probably Snuff though. They were a lot of their members ended up joining Snuffbox and Shadow Cartel, because those two, like when they started, were relatively even matched. Very different story now, but back then, they had a lot of wars in the south over Pocos. They still have Poco wars to this day when they're bored. I think they just recently, Shadow Cartel just killed like 20 Snuff Pocos in Haid, so that was fun. But yeah, that's how it all started.
I think Shadow Cartel is the one who took out our Pocos because we owned all of Hain Pocos. We had the only Hain is like this weird. So if you know Parts Obalu, which is like kind of infamous a little bit in the like outside of the war zone, but part has a Galente staging station that like you could buy shit out of and stuff like that. But like it was like you would go from high sec, Parts Obalu, high sec, and then Hain, and then high sec around Hain, and you could run level 3 missions. So we were like, yeah, that's our system that we're gonna live out of when I first started playing.
Level 3 missions.
Fuck yeah, man! When you could make so much money. Not really, but
not really.
Not really, but not real. But to me.
Nah, there's no money in faction war. No matter what anyone says, there's no money in it. Not really.
I don't know.
There's enough to live on.
I got like 21 million LP just sitting around waiting for when they release carriers.
How is that ever going to be converted into money?
Well, okay.
The market cannot support it.
So Gwen, also known as Samson here, knows what I'm talking about. But when Dreads first came out, I sold a BPC for I sold one for like 3.5 million. I think. Gwen, what did you sell?
No, you got it backwards. I think I sold it for 3.5 million, and then you sold after it like started to drop. You were able to sell a bunch to a guy for like 2.5 a piece.
Yes.
Like yeah.
And he was like, "Do you have more of these?" I'm like, "No, I'm out."
Yeah, and then I was like, "Can I get in on that?" And then it was too late.
Short-term gold rush isn't what I'd call money.
No, there was the level tier 5, which is before Gwen's and Knight Rider's thing. But were you involved in when you get everything to tier 5, and then everything was cheap in the store, and you could buy up every fucking thing for like almost dirt cheap?
The pendulum,
the gold rush,
as we used to call it. But basically, whenever that was the old faction war mechanics, when you upgraded all the systems to 5, farmed for a bit, and then dumped everything.
We just got a raid from Hasuku. Thank you so much for 49 viewers. We're hanging out with Lira right now, talking about the old days of faction warfare right now. But how you could fuck the system by being tier 5. Yeah.
Well, I mean, look no further than what happened in Minmatar Amar for the longest time. They had literally that system down. Like, they had it to perfection, where one side would, like, sweep the war zone, cash out, then they'd all swap to their ults on the other side, sweep the war zone again, and they just did that systematically for about 8 years. To the point where Minmatar LP was worth, I think, less than the effort to run the sites. Like, you'd literally make more money mining in high sec.
Yep.
But yeah, that's where my career started. After that, well.
So what was it that made you a bunch of IS? What I mean, not without unless you want to give it away. What made you billions of IS? We want trillions. Like what? You're like a trillionaire. Are you a trillionaire?
Yes, multi.
Fucking A,
at this
man.
Point. At this point, I haven't cashed out for a long time, so I haven't liquidated my entire estate for quite a while. Because of the nature of how I make my money, I keep a lot of it reinvested at all times. But it's entirely passive, so that's the way. But yeah, basically how I made my money. Well, I made my first nest egg, which would later become my ability to make money through the collapse of Band of Brothers. So Bob had go read Empires of Eve. I'm not going to go through the whole story, but Bob had a bit of a problem with some goons. Goons. Goons found out some very incriminating stuff about Band of Brothers, mainly that the higher levels of Band of Brothers were doing some very shady shit. And they paid for it with their Eve accounts. And a lot of the directorship got banned, and during the period of this ban, most of the alliance fell apart. And in that falling apart, there were a few people within Band of Brothers knew where everything was in terms of the in-space assets, and I was one of them. So yeah, I made out like a bandit. The entire alliance was dying. Nobody was logging on. So it was basically a case of goons are going to come and kill all our towers. So we probably should take the stuff out of the towers. That's how I started making money. With that nest egg, I then started trading, and I've been doing it ever since for about 2 decades almost. I've been a trader, trader and industrialist. I've built things the entire time. Even when I've taken breaks from Eve, I've logged in every 3 months to set up my long sell orders and set up my new buy orders for the next 3-month period, and I've just slowly snowballed the amount of money I had up to the amount of money I have now. I wasn't spending a lot of it back then, and I wasn't really doing any PvP, so it just grew completely out of control to the point now where I make, I don't know what let me just check actually, because I don't really keep track anymore. But yeah, okay. So about every month I'm clearing about 76 billion-isk just passive.
76
that's-
billion-isk a month passively.
Yeah, that's about how much I make off my market trading now, and I don't modify my buy or sells ever. So I literally put the order up for 3 months and go away, and on average I make about 76. At this point, there's no real reason to ever do anything for money in Eve ever again, I don't think. So I like to subsidize wars, and occasionally I like to buy people nice things and give away billions on stream and stuff. It's fun, I guess.
It's been a blast for me. Like, I'll have to say, like, every time that I'm hanging out with Lira, and I'm like, oh, I've got like 100 people watching me. Lyra's like, oh well, I gotta give them some fucking cool shit then.
Well, it means I can give out free ships to all of Galente Militia for everyone.
That's huge. I've seen you drop Megathron Navy issues to everybody, and you're one of the few people, because a lot of people get mad about this. You know, like you give out a bunch of Megathron Navy issues, and then you get like half of them back, right? Like how is your experience with that? Like giving out cool ass ships to go do a battlefield or punch the Kaldari in the face.
That's just breakage to me. The way I see it, I build mostly in Haid, and I build probably 50 to 60 ships at a time per run, and then what I do is I'll fit them all up and just write them off at that point. I don't really care if they come back or not. They're just out of the equation. It's nice if I get them back, because it means I can hand them out again, but I'm just going to build another 50 the next week anyway, so if I lose them, then I lose them. I'd much rather they die in glorious combat rather than, you know,
being sold on the market because
sold. But,
yeah.
I mean, hell, if that's if you're joining the fleets and you're keeping a ship, yeah, you're a bit of a scumbag, but you're joining the fleets. So is it
hopefully you don't sell them and you come back out with them and get them blown up some other time. They're less of a scumbag then, but then when you jump out of them and sell them, I feel like that's when you're a piece of shit that needs to like really reevaluate.
That's between you and your god. I don't control that. But yeah, the real reason I do it is actually self-serving. I hand out the free shit because one of my only real things in Eve that I genuinely enjoy anymore is coming up with fleet comps. I love doing that. I'm an absolute nut when it comes to coming up with weird and wonderful fleet compositions. It's probably the reason I'm still in faction warfare to this day, is the fact that you don't have a clearly defined meta in the same way as you do about in Null. In Null, it's like this counters this. It's just a giant rock paper scissors game with the added sprinkles of like caps and super caps. The faction warfare meta though, you're limited to Tech 1 Logi in battlefields. You're limited to just being able to bring cruisers to certain things. You're limited to a whole bunch of things, and you have to come up with clever ways to make that work for you. You can't just throw Tech 2 Marauders at everything. You can't just drop, 50 sacks and guards on top of somebody. That's not something you can do in the faction warfare space. You have to think a bit more outside the box. And yeah, it's got its own meta, and it's got its own, things that work and things that don't, and it's still pretty new, so people haven't worked everything out yet. So yeah, that's why I enjoy doing the whole handing out fleets of ships things, because I can come up with my own comp and build my own fleet and then just get people to fly them for me, see how they work, and then learn from that, build another slight iteration on that fleet the next week, see how that works. And that's genuinely interesting. It's just my industry brain doing something PvP related. It's all just data points and working out what works and what doesn't. Yeah, I love doing that. That's just personality for me, I think. But yeah, I think the fact that I have the money to do it is very freeing, and I think a lot of Galmil people like me for handing out ships. A lot of people don't, though. A lot of people would prefer that I do, the original create a doctrine contract type stuff and people buy their own ships because reship times problem stuff like that. But I'm here for the PvP and mostly the fleet. I did my time doing solo stuff in my formative years, and now I'm just interested in like 20 to 30 man fleet content. Um, yeah, I get the opportunity to fly what I like flying in a fleet environment.
Yeah, I know that every once in a while I'm like, I'd just love to buy these ships off of you because I just want them in my hangar and I don't want to steal it from you. So I just want to buy it from you, but I think I have asked once in a great while, and you've been like, yeah, give me some ISK, and here you go.
I'll sell you a ship if you want.
Right, if you really want. So
There's no real reason.
I've been stealing up a lot of time with questions though. Nightflyer, do you have any questions that are burning in your mind here for Lira?
Well, given that your pedigree here in the game, you've been around for a while. I've only been around for a few years, but and again, I've really enjoyed flying with you in Faction Warfare. You're one of the people I look forward to see if you're online and like, oh, is he on? Because his fleets are usually fun, and it's not all just hunting and plexing. There's a lot of sit around, fuck around time, and that's part of the game I enjoy. But I'm just curious if there is something in Faction Warfare, or you're talking about like ship fittings. Sorry, I got like 20 questions in my head, so I'll just stick with the one. So, ship fittings. And one of the things that always comes up is that we should have preset comps. And I want to get your kind of take on that.
As a militia, you mean doctrine-wise?
There you go, yeah.
We have had so many high-level leadership meetings where we fail again and again and again to come up with a standardized comp for things. The closest we've ever gotten was actually our last Galmel leadership meeting, where we agreed on like Prophecy Navy. We didn't agree on a fit. We agreed on a ship.
Okay.
Like, we still have no fucking clue how we're going to standardize the Prophecy Navy fit, but that's apparently what everyone wants to do. So, Mikkel from D&G, he's like, I want micro-warp drives and beam. And I'm like, I want micro-warp drives and pulses, because I like projection within a point, but I prefer tracking. And I like damage. Then, the Frogpond guys are like, well, it's going to take us like 3 months to trade into prophecies. Can we bring something else? And then Senate's like, fuck all of you, we're going to do our own thing anyway. Like, it's impossible to standardize fits across the militia. I think the only ships that we've come close to standardizing are projection execuras, because projects X are pretty much universally like fit the same way. It's a very limited, like cruisers, you have a much smaller, narrower pool of things you can do because cruisers have limited fitting, limited slots. There's only so many things you can do with a cruiser. But when it comes to the meat, which is where battle cruisers come into the game, and even battleships, I'd say they're a bit more restrictive than battle cruisers. But battle cruisers are where the beat of faction warfare fleet combat comes in. Chances are that's the comp that you're going to take out most often if you're fighting like an enemy that is capable of bringing something challenging to overcome. So the battle cruisers are pretty unique in that they have so much more fitting space and so many more slots to work with than cruisers do. That opens up a lot of possibility for anything you want. You might want to put E-War in the mids. You might want to go drones versus guns. You might want to go missile kite. You might want to be shield versus armor. You've got so many different possibilities with battle cruisers, and that's why we just can't agree on it. because nobody knows what the best thing is. And when you're dealing with it on a militia level, you've got to consider people's skills. Different groups have different training plans, different levels of play, and battle cruisers are an extensive training queue. You know, you're talking medium to heavy drones, you're talking armor layering skills that you need to have, you're talking cap life that you know is based entirely on skills you're going to have to build into these things. You've got a lot of support skills for things like E-war mids, different weapon types. There's way more that goes into it, rather than you can just tell your entire militia, well, you all trained Galente Cruiser, right? Let's go and do execs. Execs don't work against Ferox navies. Don't even try it. It just doesn't work. But, and even worse against Drake navies. Do not take your Ferox fleet up against Drake navies. But, yeah, when you're doing battle cruisers, there's a lot more choice involved. And as a result, people develop preferences. Like me personally, I hate the CFI. I think the CFI is crap. But Mikkel absolutely loves it. And I know Seta absolutely loved the CFI too. I think the CFI is way too thin for a mainline combat battle cruiser. It's great if you want to be super disengageable and you want to make sure that you stay at least 80 kilometers away from the enemy fleet at all times. But that doesn't work when you're fighting, you know, rail Feroxes that are just going to erase you at that range. Sure, you might be able to punch a few of them out, but if you're fighting outnumbered, which we usually are, you have to play around it. You need to either do more damage than the enemy in a shorter space of time with equivalent tank, or you need to have way more tank than they do and be able to outlast them. Like, there's a sliding scale in there somewhere, and personally I think the CFIs don't really fill that niche too well. They work well as a kiting fleet, but you need critical mass to make it work. It's the same with any missile comp. If you have critical mass, it's almost impossible to do anything against a properly blown missile comp with, you know, shields and micro. The Caldari have proven that actually recently with being able to bring. I mean, the Hade capture, I think, was the perfect example. I donated pretty much every ship that was lost on the day of Hade's capture. I basically gave those out through Mikkel's fleet and just traded out a bunch of stuff. And we were losing like max tanked prophecies to 30 Drake navies in like 5 seconds. That doesn't happen until you hit critical mass of missiles. Like, we were losing Tech 2 Logi to it. There's there's considerations to be made there. We definitely traded though, but the reason we traded was because my special snowflake prophecies did like 900 DPS in conflag range, and we were able to actually burn in and start brawling them. But under normal circumstances, you put CFIs up against that, they just get ripped to shreds. So yeah, people have preferences, and I have certainly more of a preference towards armor and brawling than I do towards missiles and kiting. But different groups are going to develop in different ways, and Galmil has always been a lot more separated when it comes to the different groups. They all work independently of each other and come together for big events. Bit different than the Caldari.
Yeah, and I think we're also kind of kneecapped here a bit too. We're talking about it in the fleet pre-show about, you know, the Galente ships. And I think we kind of came to the census like 1 in 12 of the Galente ships is actually worth a shit, and so, in compared to a lot of the other races, it causes a problem. And I'm thinking a lot of people are like me, like they came into the game and their character was Galente, and that's kind of where they fell into that. So you've already started your training queues along those ship lines. And, you know, here I'm like Mango Pizza's 3 years into faction warfare and training, and she's just training up Large Blaster Specialization 4. You know, for very specific reasons. But yeah, I think you know, like you're bringing up like all the ships that other people are, the Ferox and the CFI, and even the one thing that everybody could, you know, the Prophecy Navy issue. Okay, great ship. But I could see that where you're going to have a lot of unskilled pilots that are months away from being able to actually fly that ship with any skill.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's literally you're asking them to train into a completely different racial ship line for one ship. Like
Yeah,
they
no,
will
exactly.
never use anything else in the Amarian ship line if they're just doing it for the comps. Me personally, I'm a big fan of lasers. I think lasers are the best weapon system in the game, but that's personal preference. Most people would say a
No,
rail
it's
exec is far
true.
better
It's
than
not.
Roman Navy.
It's not personal preference. Lasers are the best.
Ah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've got a laser roke with 50 kill marks on it. My laser roke is just top tier. But yeah, I mean, I could talk for hours about ship.
Yeah, but I
weapons.
think that kind of led into part of our conversation earlier too, what you brought up about the ship fitting is, and now we're kind of left with this idea of, well, what ship is nobody flying, and is it possible? Is there a way to throw something on this? You know, can I put lasers on a Vexer and make it like a game changer? It's going to be something
Disco
nobody's going to
Vexer.
see coming. Like, it's going to be months before people come up with a counter for our laser Vexers out there. You know.
Well, I've done it
Oh.
a couple of times to the point where Calmill, actually, I've done quite a lot of streams and views with Calmill. Uh, I have this opinion that's a bit, I don't know, I'm a bit of a pariah for this, but basically I maintain that Calmill are not to be like disrespected because they are our content kind of thing. You don't want to put them down too much. It's okay to let them win every now and then because that fosters better fights in the future. That's for me personally. I'm not a big proponent for like Warzone control. I like planning out ops and doing stuff like that. And
Mhm.
obviously the most recent one was like the Weekend of Fire that we did where we took basically the entire Essence. That op I did a lot of planning and prep for, and I did a lot of FCing for. But the I have friends on the Caldari side simply because I've been around longer. A lot of those guys that are running fleets on the Caldari side have been Galente before. Dean Whisper's a great example. I set up arranged fights with him every now and then. Like there are Calmel FCs that are competent that I actually kind of respect as players, and from that perspective, I would prefer to continue to fight these guys rather than just put them down constantly and shit stomp them every chance I get. So I have a healthy respect for the enemy, rather than a sort of put them down all the time. I'm not an apologist. I'll still say we're the best because we are the best. But
Yeah, by pilot, we are the best. So
yeah, I think on an individual skill level, we have some very very good pilots, and we've definitely got a mix of old guard that are on balance probably higher skilled and have more money and more resource to pull from. But the Caldari have definitely got the advantage of numbers, and they have the advantage of comp sometimes as well.
mhm.
That as previously mentioned, the Ferox Navy is very strong, and the Drake Navy also very strong. The Osprey Navy very strong, probably not as strong as the ENI even post nerf, but still very strong. They have a lot of very good ships to pull from. They've definitely got the advantage in frigate level with the hook bill. Jesus, that thing's a machine. Like, I dare you to try and find anything but a comet that stands a chance against the dual web TD hook bill. And even then, the comet's got its work cut out for it. There are really strong ship line on the Caldari side, contest with. And yes, the Galente do have some good ships too. Not as many of them, and those ships that they have are definitely have much bigger weaknesses than Caldari do. I mean, put a Blaster Brutix up against like a Blaster Ferox Navy, and the Ferox Navy will probably win. But yeah, on the Brutix Navy, actually, I think a lot of people underestimate the Brutix Navy. It's actually an incredibly good platform. I've had a lot of success making fleets out of those.
Yeah, we
Most
just fought
free-
one, and I was actually trying to design a new one up here. So
Well, I started a trend about 6 months ago where I would build a fleet that was designed to flip-flop in its role. So I would include the refit into the ship, and we just take the refit with us wherever we went, and we could switch roles between a close-range brawling fleet and a long-range kiting fleet, kind of on the fly. And through doing this, we were able to win fights that we should not have won. We went up against TD Sin over in their pirate group down south, where they brought out a bunch of bassies and alligators to fight us, and we were in slightly less numbers than them as well. They slid into us in a Plex while we were in the blaster refit Bruixes, and we absolutely crushed them. Like, it was not even funny how badly they lost. We didn't lose a ship. They lost 2 bassies and like 2 alligators in very, very quick time. And each one of their ships was like 1.5 billion each. And we were there in like 250 mil Bruixes, and we absolutely rickrolled them. Do not underestimate the strength of blaster Bruixes when you're sliding into them, because they will crush you in a fleet comp at least. But then they went and refit to heavy missiles and tried to kite us when we went to a mining op next door. And by that point, I'd had us docked up, refit to rails with afterburners, and we creamed them again with the slightly different fit. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, you can do things with ship fittings that people don't expect, and the ability to flip flop a fit like that takes quite a bit of preparation and foresight, I suppose, because a lot of people, I don't see the Kaldari do this often. They don't carry their refits with them very often, and they definitely don't have much in the way of initiative with that kind of thing. Like, if they see us in Bruixes, for example, they will generally come at us with hams. If we happen to refit to blasters when we see them undocked with hams, we'll win the fight. Especially with a defensive advantage. So yeah, like that's part of the fleet gameplay that I really enjoy, is just that chess game, fit versus fit. And yeah, the Brutix is awesome. I love the Brutix. It's great. In fact, I would go as far as to say I wish we weren't so fixated on the prophecy and would happily go to just Brutix Navy all the time.
I agree with that. I agree with that
Yeah.
fully. Like, I like our ships, even though they're not. Sometimes they're not the best, but sometimes you can play it. You know, play the game here. So we got a few questions, good solid questions from Nightfly here. Samson, you've been pretty quiet. Got any good? What's going through your mind here, man? What's going on with the Samsonite? We got any questions?
What was your maybe most recent interesting PvP encounter?
Shadow Cartel Black Ops drop the other night that Frozen was part of, where we spent 30 minutes shooting a revelation that wouldn't die. Yeah, I mean, I get a few scattered things here or there where I do a lot of stuff with just small groups of people, usually from my corp, that I would consider far more fun.
Yeah, the small stuff.
Yeah, so just the other day, there's a couple of guys that fly around sort of the Haida area that you may have run into that like to fly very, very fast Garmas. Just the other day, I introduced some bros that should know about this but don't, to the idea of cheap Crusaders as a counter to literally any kitey frigate. And yeah, we successfully killed Yumenoshima's like 11k a second Gamma using a very clever bit of mechanics.
That's
where
crazy.
Basically him and Zenkira land on a grid, and we're like, okay, we're in 2 Crusaders. We'll start burning off just towards the sun. They chase after us. Wait until, like, you can time it from when they turn their prop on. You know roughly when they're gonna hit a cycle. So if you time it to where they get close to you and you wait for them to just pass the cycle so they can't overheat that cycle, you flip your overheat on, spin around and burn directly at them. The Crusader has a heat bonus for its prop. So we were able to burn at them before they could overheat. And even though their agility is better than the average Crusader, we were able to just get on top of them and completely erase like 500 million-ish Gamma before they could even do anything about it. So
That's how it's done.
yeah, I mean, that's the kind of, I hyper analyze everything in this bloody game, and just ask
This is
anyone
the way.
who I've done intercepting for. I take massive amounts of, like, I wouldn't call it like elitism. I think it's more like I see a bit deeper than most people do when it comes to this kind of stuff. I like manually pilot everything. I understand transversals and what can
Not
hit me,
elitism, it's autism. Got it.
It's definitely autism. Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with that.
Same.
Yeah, I like to hyper analyze everything, and yeah, when it comes to interceptor play, God, I love it. Like, it's literally a razor's edge. you can die very, very, very easily, and I fly very expensive interceptors. So I think my average malediction clocks in at 3 billion ISK. So
Jeez.
that's
a little
how I
pricey.
fly it. Ooh, question.
We do have a question. What do you think about new jam changes? I mean, jam ships losing all of his lock target except for the jammer. I think no one uses jammers anymore due to this huge nerf. What do you have to say? I have a lot to say on this, but I want to hear what Lira has to say here.
Complete lie. It's a complete lie. It's not a nerf at all. They still use jams extensively, and I think jams, they're just as cancerous as they always were, because the ship that's jamming you is going to be 150 kilometers away. Like, the Griffin that jams you is going to be out of your lock range generally anyway. If not out of your lock range, then they're going to be far enough away that you can't shoot them easily, and burning to them to try will get you killed or put you way out of position. In a fleet setting, jams are absolutely horrific to deal with, to the point where I actually consider info links for every single one of my fleets. Like, if I'm doing any fleet that justifies using links, I am bringing info links over a third armor on a command ship or on a battle cruiser. If I build a battle cruiser specifically to do links, it's going to have an info link on there just to put sensor hardening, because jams can literally destroy your fleet in a second. And because we use mostly armor tank ships, augurers being our sort of go-to, jams can destroy your logi chain in a second. And as soon as the logi chain falls, because our reps land at the end of cycle and not at the start like shields do, that's it. Your comp can fall apart in seconds. And especially when you're fighting outnumbered all the time, you have to get a lot more out of less ships, which means we generally fly either tankier or higher repping orgs, depending on the situation. We generally have less of them, so we can't afford to lose. Like, if half our logi wing gets jammed, that's it, we die. Like,
Yeah.
jams are incredibly potent, and because we tend to fight at closer ranges, the fact that our racial war isn't as effective is kind of, I mean, for one, the
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I did, so I'm gonna do it. But like,
go for it.
fucking, when you can only lock at 2 kilometers, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. It's different. I do have to say though that it's brought it in line with what every other MMORPG has, which is an aggressor. It's really fucked up comparatively, because like in other MMORPGs you have like, oh, you're the tank that forces somebody to like attack you. And instead we have a kiter that forces you to attack you, which is, like you said, 150 kilometers ish, you know, depending on whatever fucking ship you're using. But like beyond normal attack range, right, is like you're like, oh hey, you have to attack me if you want to get me to stop. But that is in line with the rest of MMORPGs, whereas before it was, fuck you, you're not doing shit, period. Done.
Well,
and NPCs were the worst. Like, this, if you bring it over to NPC land, it's like these, like, Ristas, why the fuck would you shoot a Garista when you can go out to any other fucking point of the land and be like, oh, I
Because
could
they drop
actually
pith
fucking
mods.
fight these things?
It's because they drop pith mods. That's why you shoot monsters, and those are the most expensive mods in the game. But yeah, to kind of finish off what I was gonna say there, damps versus jams. Damps don't work as well as jams do for the kind of fleet fighting that Galmil does. Because we tend to be closer range, that brings everything tighter. If you are closer to the enemy, your Logi's closer to the enemy, and your support ship is closer to the enemy. And we're in a projection meta. So they are going to be able to shoot your support ships most of the time. Unless those support ships are out of range of reps, in which case they are entirely dependent on range to stay alive. And when you're in a projection meta fighting against rail feroxes or something of the like, or even execs, your Logi is going to be closer to your fleet, because that's where your fleet wants to be, closer to the enemy. Your support ships are going to have to make a decision between being with the Logi, closer in, and getting erased, or being further away, being isolated, and getting picked off by like the random frigates or whatever come in, and not being able to do their job. Whereas they don't have that problem. They can just put a throwaway Blackbird 150 kilometers away from the fight that we can do absolutely nothing about unless we happen to bring our own small group of frigates or something to deal with it. And that was what we did in the Haid fighting, but we don't often have the numbers to do that. We need everybody we can in mainline DPS battle cruisers or in Logi ships. We don't really have the numbers that they do to be able to throw those kind of kitchen sinky things out to go and deal with the support. And because the max skilled Blackbird pilot is going to have a longer effective range on optimal with jams than we are going to have with damps, while you can damp the Blackbird, all you're going to achieve by doing that is get yourself killed in the Celestis. Because the Blackbird guy's going to be like, I'm safe, I can't do anything in the fight, but I'm safe. They're damping me, shoot him. And they'll shoot the Celestis. Celestis will die because the Celestis is paper thin, even with a 16 plate, it's only got 4 lows. So it's still going to die. Whereas the Blackbird is so far away that our standard methods of fighting are not going to be able to reach out and touch him. So, I mean, decide if you will whether or not damps are more effective than ECM. ECM, I would say, is substantially more survivable than damp ships are, because the Celestis has to be closer.
But you would agree that it's better the way that it is now than it was the way 5 years ago.
Yeah, having the ability to not get completely fucked by a Griffin Navy issue is nice. The ability to shoot him back, top marks for that.
Yeah, I'm happy that they made that change. Like, that was one of the big things that, like, it's still, I think you're right on the sense that it's still really powerful, but it's not ungodly fucking just stupidly powerful. Like, if you can beat the RNG, if you know how to look at the RNG and say that, well, I can mitigate the chance to me being fucked, that the other guy is completely fucked. Like you said, like a Griffin Navy issue back in the day was like, I'm not going into that. Period. Yeah. Now it's like, the drones are gonna fuck me, but let's see what we can do here.
Well, you can shoot the drones and they have no HP, so just kill the drones.
Right.
I mean, even with the bonuses in the Griffin Navy, the drones are still gonna die in 2 or 3 hits. So you have a play there. You're not just gonna be permanently unable to lock anything. Yes, any fleet commander worth his salt will say we want to try and get as much RNG out of our fighting as possible, because if you're bringing ECM, it is inherently RNG. You might get a god tier wave of jams where you jam their entire Logi for 5 seconds and then you kill like 8 ships in that time. Sure, that might happen, but you can't really count on it. If you're going into a fight and you're risking people's money, risking ships. Yeah,
which is why EVE Online is different, you know. Like there's actual risk to not just we lost the fight, so we don't get that cool ass ingots or whatever the fuck you get from fighting in WoW or whatever. Like, I loved WoW at level 29. Level 30, I fucking hated WoW. Like,
I played World of Warcraft for a bit.
I'm not gonna die to level 39s.
Get good,
Well,
Frozen. Get good.
Fuck you.
Get good.
I won World of Warcraft because I realized what the system is. It's entirely a self-perpetuating grind fest, and the only part you can actually really win is like seasonal. So unless you're prepared to come back every season to win the season, and then go away again, and then go through the same gameplay loop endlessly till the end of time, then I don't think they've had an original idea in World of Warcraft in like 20 years.
Yeah, not really. It's all about that story and the new raid that you can get, and just Eve is just better. Period.
I cornered the market on my server and made myself billions of gold and then quit the game. That's how I play games.
And you just can't do that with Eve. I mean, yeah, you won billions, trillions.
You can get to the point. You can get to the point in EVE Online if you put yourself into it enough and generate enough opportunities for yourself. You can get to the point where you basically can just say, I have effectively got enough money, that I can do anything I want for the rest of time. Like, that's kind of the point I'm at now, where I'm just experimenting with things, just mad scientist in a lab putting stuff together, throwing it to people and saying, here, fly this, and let's go and see what we can achieve with it. That's, in my opinion, that's winning Eve.
There's a lot of different ways to win Eve. Xenomorphite does say, I will not will not use, I didn't say, I fucked it up, will not use my Widow anymore because of that. If I am JD, I will put my fleet in danger because they will just be far away from my bridgeable area. So yeah, no, it's changed the game to a certain degree, and I like that to a certain degree. It's not as easy just to be like, I'm gonna be the fuck you ship. You gotta really think about what you're doing here. But we did interrupt Samsonite here with his questions. Any other questions that you got here, Samson? Or are you just like, are you done with your questions? You just ain't got nothing more.
No, I just had the one question and he answered it. We're good.
That was good. That was it.
Ask and you shall receive.
But yeah, no, this has been really awesome. Is there any other questions that we got here that needs fielding before because we're getting about to the beyond the hour mark here that we normally try and get to, but this has been pretty awesome for me. I really
actually I do have one more.
Here we go, one more.
Will you give me a trillion ISK so I can double it for you?
Yeah, double it.
Oh, triple it. Sorry, triple it. There you go. I've sold
maybe next stream for the giveaway. Tune in.
Now we got see Samson. Now we got to get you to stream on Federation Frontline so you can get a trillion.
Yeah, I'm surprised nobody's asked me how many Alliance tournament ships I had.
I'm gonna ask that right now. How many Alliance tournament ships do you own?
7.
Holy fuck! So you're like beyond trillionaire. You're like 10 trillionaire. Like 10 trillionaires put into one at least, just on your AT ships.
I will send you a screenshot one sec. but no, most of my Alliance tournament ships are entirely hangar queens. Literally never get undocked till like Eve ends because they are that rare at this point. I've kind of done the top trumps of Alliance tournament ships over the years. I've got some extremely rare and extremely old AT ships that just don't exist anymore. You will not find them anywhere.
That's epic.
Yeah, I've got a Megathron that has very shiny silver skin on it.
Someday, when I have 1,000, if I get 2,000 people, will you give away one of them?
Will I give away an AT ship? Depends on the AT ship, because there are some that I'm trying to get hold of that I am willing to trade them for. I have been trying to get my hands on a Vanguard for a very long time, but no one in PL will sell me. I I suppose the rarest one I have is the Megatron. The Megatron from Alliance Tournament 2. That one day I will trade out or give away or something. But that's probably going to be like the dying days. when Eve is like on its last legs, I will undock that thing in Jita and it will die gloriously to some tornado blob.
How many fan fests have you been to?
3.
3. And are you planning on going to more, or are you done? You done with your fan fest times?
Chith, a good buddy of mine from FPD, who I met up with in London the other day.
Yeah, we know Chith.
Yeah, I love Chith.
Yeah, I took him out for a steak dinner at Miller and Carter the other day in Wimbledon. It's his second time to the UK, but it's the first time with his family. And yeah, I just stopped up. It's an hour-and-a-half drive for me, so I just drove up to London, took him out for a meal, just to show him how our steakhouses work. Yeah, he's told me that if I don't, then yeah, he's gonna have something to say. Let's just say there was strongly worded emails.
What I want to say is that I someday, maybe it won't be the next fan fest, but I fell in love with fan fest. Like when my wife told me, now my wife goes to Gen Con, she hangs out, she plays a little bit of Eve. Like, she likes Eve, she thinks it's an interesting game. The first thing that she wanted to do was be a bounty hunter in Eve and be the Boba Fett of Eve. And I love my wife. And when she went to FanFest, and after having gone to a bunch of other conventions, she was like, this is the best convention I have ever been to. I was like, okay, this is our thing that we go to. I'm going to go to Iceland as often as CCP will put up this thing, which is 2025 is the new event that they're going to be putting out there. I would love to hang out with you at FanFest, get you so drunk that you promise me that you will put an AT ship on my stream, and I'm gonna get you that drunk someday. I promise it.
I keep a throwaway Frecky in the hangar for special occasions.
There we go.
Like, anyone ever makes me like throw a AT ship their way, I've got a piece of shit that I could just give out that people lose their minds about. If you ever get the opportunity to buy an AT ship, don't get scammed into buying a Frecky, because it's freaking garbage.
It's garbage, but it's still worth a lot of money. So, you know, you don't have to fly it. You can sell it.
You would think. I recently tried to trade an Utu and a Frecky for a Malice, and the guy backed out because he said it's not worth it.
Well,
the Utu
you can trick
cool,
somebody.
right?
You can trick somebody, I'm sure.
The Utu is cool. Don't get me wrong. It's like a cool Enyo with like a long point bonus. It's cool, but the Frecky is just it's barely better than a wolf. Barely. It's a little bit quicker. That's about it.
These peanuts, thank you so much for the follow. But real quick, we do have something before we go. We got a couple things that we want to talk about here, because we are a little bit over time than normal, but that's fine because these interviews are way worth going over time. But I want you to tell me a little bit about this giveaway that we're going to be doing right now. We got a marbles game here that we got going on. And we got a special little ship here that we're giving away. Can you tell us a little bit more about this ship before we give it away?
It's the Federation Navy Thorax. Yes. So recently I've been doing giveaways on Frozen Stream, and yeah, I asked like people in Fleet earlier what Delente ship I should put up, and we started with a Megatron and we gave that away. It was a fully faction fit and Dead Space that I think Megatron, like 2.5 bill or something, and I think someone from my corp won it, so that makes me feel a bit rigged. So I hope no one from my corp wins this, but this is the 1.4 billion-ish Thorax of your dreams. It's entirely Federation Navy fitted, and including the guns. I've never used faction guns before, so if anyone manages to actually get that thing out of Jita and to the war zone, I shall watch its death with great interest and see if the guns are any good. But yeah, the Federation Navy thorax with skin. It comes with the Federation Navy skin as well, so it'll look like an Execura that you wish it was. That's kind of the story of it. I just randomly threw it together here.
It's super cool, fucking epic.
If you win the marble game.
Yes, it's we got the marbles up on the screen, exclamation point play. If you want to get in on this, I got, you know, we're gonna give it away. It's right around the corner right now. We've had it up for a while now, so thank you all for watching. While we're kind of watching this, instead of me giving my normal play-by-play, we're gonna have me maybe a little bit pouncing in here every once in a while to just be like, oh fuck. But Samson, you recently had an event that happened that's kind of special to your heart. Tell us a little bit about that while we do the countdown here, and we're gonna do the little giveaway. Get in on this right now! Exclamation point! Oh, YOLO Gaming just rated us with 36 people, so yeah, that puts us back over 100 here, just in fucking time. This is the fucking time to do it. So if you're here, exclamation point play right fucking now, because I am literally
Federation Navy thorax giveaway,
hovering over
plus skin.
This what is it? $1 billion is? It's like $1 billion.
It's a billion for the Federation Navy thorax.
The Cosmiskate. What? Thank you for your fucking. Whoa! A fucking subscription from Power Wing 22. Thank you so fucking much. That you don't have. If my unemployed ass fucking loves every little fucking bit that I could get, every dollar I can tell my wife that, hey man, this might be worth it for me to actually do, and she's like, you know, you can't make a lot of money, but make some money. Go and do it.
It'll buy you another bottle of bourbon and a few minutes that you can use to forget about it.
Absolutely. So exclamation point play. We'll give it a little bit longer here, but while we're waiting, and I'm gonna, you know, 20, 30, maybe a minute from now, but Samson, tell me a little bit about what was this special fucking cool ass shit that I can't do. Nobody will fucking let me on this show. They're like, fuck you, you're a piece of shit. But maybe not. Maybe not. Tell me.
I think you're overreacting, Frozen. I think legitimately the host and runner of this show legitimately thought that you had already been on the show. That was my understanding during the show.
And maybe I have been, because
if the show actually airs. If the show actually airs, yeah, I mean, you make us all look like idiots, because I legitimately went to bat for you. So if the show actually airs, because there were a lot of issues with Discord during the course of that. I mean, picked up really fast, very. And
we will put it in the show notes. We're gonna put this show, which
Declarations of War, the Eve's longest running podcast. Run by Alexiev Card Noir. Yes, I did. I was recently on DAO, or Declarations of War.
Those guys suck.
Yeah, said the Noir
Nightflyer was on there first.
He was the first of the Federation front line to be on it.
True. He said, and when I don't know, I don't remember how it came up, but Alex said, we've had your other hosts on the show, but now we're finally having you on the show. And I was like, I don't think that's plural, sir. Like, you had Nightflyer on the show. And then he was like, wait, I thought we had Frozen. And it was like, I don't think so. He wasn't on there. So maybe it's just because I was on your show. Because he was on the Federation Frontline Report. Alec was on quite a few times. But yes, I do not want to discount what Lira said. Yes, they are traitors. They left the Gal Mill and now are the Guristas. But you know, they're mercenaries. What do you want?
The contract expired. Yeah.
Contract expired. And by the way, it was a lot of fun flying with them when we were part of them. But yeah, it was a good time. Like I said, very professional podcast. He runs his podcast like he runs his fleets. So I don't know if you would survive, Frozen. I don't know if you could survive.
I am a piece of shit. So
You would have to not drink, maybe.
No, I'm gonna drink anyways. I don't care if you bring me on.
No, it was a good
drunken frozen fallout. So
yeah, have a good luck with that. But
I'm rooting for caviar. I'm rooting for caviar on the marbles game.
He's in front right now.
Yeah.
Tell me, tell me more. What was it like? What was it like being on a professional podcast and not on the least professional podcast of EVE Online?
Well, I also run a professional podcast.
Well, you
myself,
do, where you edit and you actually care.
I run several podcasts, but
where can I watch
that? Strength in Gaming. That's not EVE related. You don't.
But it is cool. It is.
Right there. That's my logo. But no. Declarations of War is a lot of fun. I listened to the last episode. They had a really good discussion about the current patch, and there were some updates on that in this episode. I don't want to spoil the episode or anything, but there, some of Gwen's origin stories here and there, and Federation Frontline Report, and some Spectre Fleet stuff. Excuse me, that we talked about. Something felt like it just flew in my throat. But yeah, no. To answer your question, I guess it's different. I'm not used to being on a show where it's more professional, because I'm so used. I've gotten so used to the casual style of podcasting because it's what I do. It's what Frozen does. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is a show that Frozen and I and a buddy of mine did that is extremely edited and stuff, but that's still in the works, and who knows if that'll ever see the light of day. So, but I want to thank Alec and Zero. His co-host, both Alec and Zero were there. Leif wasn't available, but I've flown with all these guys before anyway. But like, to at least be on a show with them and be hosting with them was really cool, and I really appreciated the opportunity. And I think now that maybe the door's open for you, Frozen, because I legitimately think that he thought that you'd already been on the show.
That's awesome, because yeah, I unless I'm like really, because I did.
Because you're also from the Midwest, and you're very nice, and maybe you're like, well, I don't want to ask again if I've already asked him 10 times. You haven't fucking asked him. You've never been on the show.
I've asked him before, but not like pushing it, and I maybe there's a stint where I went on like every fucking show that I could possibly get on. And
full disclosure, I feel like maybe I was a bit of an asshole. I literally, we were in a fleet, and I texted Alec and I said, so when am I going to be on your show? Because Frozen just keeps saying like he's not allowed on your show, and I'm just like, I didn't say any of that. I just said, when am I going to be allowed on your show? Or when am I going to be on your show? And he was like, well, you can maybe fit you in the next one or the one after that. And I was like, there we go, done. Frozen, what the fuck is your problem?
How can you not get on this show? I'm just too Midwestern nice, where I'm like, I asked, I didn't get it, and maybe I did. And I'm just a fucking Midwestern idiot, which is very possible. Because I don't remember.
I would have listened to the episode.
I swear,
I listened to Night Flyers episode.
I've been on. So I've had.
I'm so sorry, Lira. He's just gonna go on a fucking long tangent now.
Don't worry, I'm used to it.
I swear that I've been on a couple of other podcasts that I can't even fucking Talking in Stations.
Well, you were in Talking in Stations. Yeah.
I've been on Talking in Stations. I've had Talking in Stations dude. What's his name? Who the fuck is the guy that used to run Talking in Stations?
Matterall.
That's
yeah,
it.
I knew it started with an M.
Me and him had like a really long, in-depth conversation afterwards, and I was like, he was like, I like you. I really like you. You need to like me, and you need to.
So he was drunk.
And
he was drunk, bro. You got him drunk.
Shrooms. But maybe he was drunk. But I don't think so, actually. To be honest, I really don't think he was drunk. And so I think, I've been on like another one. I don't think I was on Declaration Wars because I don't remember being like really I would have been the first excited about talking about.
I would have been taking a shit at 6 in the morning, and I got a text from you. I'm going to be on Declarations of War, and I would have fucking listened to
I
it.
feel
And that didn't
like
happen.
I would have been like all over.
And I'm
the
not
place
faulting.
for it.
I'm not faulting Alex for that. I'm definitely faulting
it's-
you for that.
Yeah, no, I didn't push hard enough. And just like the reason, and I'm gonna bitch about it every fucking chance I get, that CCP won't come on my podcast. They won't. They said,
Apparently, I need to
you,
start
you're a piece
messaging
of shit. Fuck you.
CCP.
But no, the real problem is I don't persist. I hit you up. I say, hey, what the fuck? You want to come on? You want to do this? I talked to you at FanFest, and they were like, yeah. And then they were like,
You got a lot of dudes. You got a lot of people on the show.
I did get a lot of people after FanFest. We got a lot. So we're gonna do this this giveaway here. We got this cool ass. I gotta find it. I don't have very many thoraxes, so if I do thorax,
it's in 1DQ, so enjoy that.
Nope, it's in Jitta, which is not convenient for all of us, but it is there.
Get it
so
all.
Normally,
do it right.
Normally,
Jeez.
it's only 13 million ISK for you to get that ship, but it's a billion ISK with all the fittings on this fucking thing.
With all the trimmings.
Create contract. We know who it goes to because we did get that in the thing here. YOLO Gaming. Yep, I have it right
Nobody
here.
can see the fit.
Hold on. I'll give me a second. Give me a second. We'll get it over into the side here.
Sorry, did somebody win? I didn't even hear you announce it.
Yep, YOLO Gaming. I apologize. We were deep in
the guy
convo.
who raided you.
The guy
a minute
who
before it started.
Wow, that's rigged. That's rigged.
Somebody
100.
estimated price 14 million. No.
He went over there and he said, "Hey, if you raid me right now, I will give you this thorax." He totally did. That's exactly what happened.
So this is the contract.
I run
here.
intelligence. You can trust me.
I will link you the fit. Hang on.
I got it. I got it.
You got the
right here.
Well, if you want to see it actually simulated, so you can see what you're actually.
Yep. So this is the attributes of it right now. Low EHP, but you've got fucking speed. You've got the ability to fucking hit. You've got some sexy ass shit here. I don't know.
So what you're saying is you got the ability to generate a very nice kill mail.
You got a beautiful, beautiful.
I
appreciate you.
This is the first ship I've given away on Fallout stream that I would actually fly myself, unironic.
1.1 billion in simulated, so I think it's a little bit more than that.
That's with the Haid. That's with the Haid market, so you're missing a few bits of that, I imagine.
It's a pretty fucking sexy ship.
It's about
here,
1.4 to buy.
All right, so just to make 100% sure, YOLO Gaming, I'm not fucking up on this, right? This is you right here, YOLO. Part of the Awakened. Are you a mage? Are you a mage from Mage the Ascension?
Giving it to Lorne. Giving it to Lorne, really?
Hey, I like...
No hate.
I like Lon. Actually, one of the best Logi pilots that I've ever had in any of my fleets.
In all of
Eve, period, is Shinji of Lon.
Dude, he brought the best support to the gathering.
He won't talk to me anymore. I don't know why he's not talking to me right now. I don't know.
Who's not talking to you?
Yeah, I hit him up like 20 times recently, and he's like, I'm not saying anything.
Who?
Shinji. I love Shinji, and he comes over, and we are good friends, but he's busy, something like that. So.
He was in we went out and did some ESS a couple weeks ago with Chad, and we were winning super blingy crap, and yeah, Shinji was there.
Was Shinji there? Fucking yeah, I love Shinji.
So, I think so, yeah. So yeah, yeah, Shinji is good people. We also like Spoons, who is probably the best Logi pilot that I know. I guess the best Logi pilot I know that actually flies with us still. Best Logi pilot I've ever seen is actually a she, and she is now an Exodus, and will probably be in their 18 this year.
Sounded like a challenge there, Shinji. Where the fuck are you?
I love Shinji. I really do. I like that man. He lives so close to me. I've hung out with him a whole bunch. He stayed over at my house.
Yeah, when I hung out with him last time
cool.
at the...
And he brought one of the coolest people in all of fucking... that I have ever met. Like, he just was like, I am going to teach you how to smoke a cigar from Cuba. I was like, okay. And then I got so drunk that I couldn't learn.
You passed out, but I got to smoke the cigars, so I was happy. So I didn't care. I had cigars in Armagnac, 25-year-old Armagnac.
I smoked my last one before this stream, unfortunately.
Awesome.
Gotta
All
get
right.
more.
We'll
Gotta
go
get
ahead and wrap it on up here. This has been super awesome. Thank you so much, Lira, for coming on. Thank you, Night Flyer. Thank you, Samson. You guys really make this stream. Like, my co-hosts are epic, and Lira has been a huge contributor to the stream here. This is why we've got 90 people. I guarantee it, 100%, is these 3 people that I've got right here with me right now. If it wasn't for
90%, it's Lira, but okay.
No, well,
you throw a bit of money around.
85.
1 week, 100 people next week. It's
85%.
the way of the world.
80-20.
We'll 85 out of 145.
80-20.
So,
80-20. Night Flyer is 15%, and I'm 5%. There we go. Solid.
Besides, we got fleet stuff to do.
We got more shit to do. We're gonna be back. We're gonna murder some shit. We're gonna fucking murder. Lyra, we're you gonna murder shit? We're gonna kill something? Me and you?
I think we're gonna murder some shit. Yeah, why not?
What time is it for you right now? What time is it?
20 to 1 in the morning. So yeah, about
it's
12,
fucking early for you.
That's early for Frozen
time.
This pool,
I
don't know where Frozen is on this. Where
early.
are you at on my screen, Frozen? I don't want to bring the stream back
up on the top left-hand corner.
So you're over there?
The left. No, right. Right.
Okay, my right.
Your right, left. My left.
Got it. Frozen. This guy falls asleep at like 4 or 5 in the morning and wakes up at like 2 in the afternoon. So
I need to, although you wake up all the fucking time and are murdering shit when I'm like, I should get up and
I can't sleep. I wake up at like 4 in the morning, dude. I go to bed at like 10 and wake up at 4 in the morning and I just can't sleep.
I'm self-employed, so I get to pick my own hours, but I think I have the weirdest Eve play hours of anyone in this game. I'm pretty sure I bet money on that.
I feel like I play Eve.
Stay up all night leading fleets, sleep for 3 hours, do some work, then sleep for 3 more hours, do a bit more work, then take lunch, then go back to bed for an hour, then start fleets again. Like that's kind of how Eve works for me. Because
that's my dream.
Galmil's predominantly US, at least with the fleet stuff, and that's what I'm here for. And living in the UK obviously is very much. I have to sort of wake up really early or go to bed really late. There's no other option, and I've been doing that for a long time now. So much so that my job and everything I do is almost structured around that method. So
that's so awesome, dude. I love you, man.
That's how the meta works.
Every time that I jump on and I hear that Lira is jumping around doing things, I'm just like, as soon as you join my fleet, I'm like, oh my god, my heart just is like,
it's gonna kick off.
We got a real fucking hardcore man coming in.
You know that the timer starts from the moment I join. The timer starts till snuff drops on you. Like the second I join the fleet, the timer starts ticking. It's like you have 15 minutes from the time I join the fleet to the first time you get dropped by stuff.
Here comes the Phoenix to the iHub. Yup.
Well, I've got some plans in the future that I'm gonna drop some like kind of like Lira, but not as much because I'm not as cool. But we're gonna do some crazy shit. And Spectre Fleet. Speaking of Samson here, who got me into Spectre Fleet. I've got a buddy who I'm
correction. My wife got us into Spectre Fleet.
That's true. That's true. This is a long story that if you check our other podcasts, you'll learn that story. Yeah. So, all right, we're gonna wrap this on up here. So once again, thank you so much, Lira. This has been epic. I hope we can get you back on here again, and we'll continue the epicness that is the story of Lira, the badass motherfucker from Frog Team 4, right? Did I get that right?
Frog Team 4 is my corp. Yes, it's not a plug because we are very selective about who we invite, but yeah, I'd say more representing our alliance here. Fleet Pizza Delivery. We live in Fleet. We shoot stuff for Galente, I guess. Join us. I don't know. If you're bored, maybe we do things occasionally for free. Get free ships.
And thank you, Night Flyer, so much. Thanks, Samson, for coming on. We're going to do some more PvP after this. Have a great night.
Bye bye.